Dear friends, the Fat Controller had just been having a disturbing time. He ordered one goods engine from Scotland and was surprised to receive two. They had both lost their numbers and no one knew which was which, so he didn't know which engine to keep. More and more people travelled on the Fat Controller's railway. More and more ships came to the harbours. Everyone had to work very hard indeed. The trucks complained bitterly, but then trucks always do, and no one takes much notice. The coaches complained too. No sooner had they arrived with one train than they had to go out again with fresh passengers as another. "We don't know whether we're coming or going," they protested. "We feel quite distracted." "No one can say," grumbled Henry, "that we're afraid of hard work, but—" "We draw the line at goods trains," finished Gordon. "Dirty trucks, dirty sidings, ugh," put in James. "What are you boiler aching about?" asked Duck. "I remember on the Great Western—" "That Tin Pot Railway, Tin Pot indeed, let me tell you." "Silence," ordered a well-known voice. "Let me tell you that an engine for goods work will arrive from Scotland tomorrow." The news was received with acclamation. The Fat Controller stared. "Did you say 2 engines, Inspector?" "Yes, sir." "Then send the other back at once." "Certainly, sir, but which?" The Fat Controller stared again. "Engines have numbers, Inspector," he explained patiently. "We bought number 57646. Send the other one back." "Quite so, sir, but there is a difficulty." "What do you mean?" "The 2 engines are exactly alike, sir, and have no numbers. They say they lost them on the way." The Fat Controller seized his hat. "We'll soon settle that nonsense," he said grimly. The 2 engines greeted him cheerfully. "I hear you've lost your numbers," he said. "How did that happen?" "They might slightly slip it off, sir. You know how it is." The engines spoke in chorus. "I know. Accidentally on purpose." The twins looked pained. "Sir, you wouldn't be thinking we'd lost them on purpose." "I'm not so sure," said the Fat Controller. "Now then, which of you is 57646? "That, sir, is just what we can't mind." The Fat Controller looked at their solemn faces. He turned away. He seemed to have difficulty with his own. He swung round again. "What are your names?" "Doddle and Dougie, sir." "Good," he said. "Then your controller can tell me which of you is which." "Oh, he'll get no muckle help for him, sir." "Why?" "He doesn't ken our names, sir. How could he? We only gained ourselves names when we lost our numbers." "One of you," said the Fat Controller, "is playing truant. I shall find him out and send him home." "Inspector," he ordered, "give these engines numbers and set them to work." He walked sternly away. Soon workmen came to give the twins their numbers. Donald was 9 and Douglas 10. When the men went away, they were left alone in the shed. "You may have noticed, Dougie, that yon Pinter's forgot something." "What did they forget?" "The Pinter brought new numbers on the tenders, but they're putting none on us." Donald winked broadly at his twin. "You mean," grinned Douglas, "that we can—" "Just that," chuckled Donald. "Heard your wisht, here's the Inspector." "Now 9 and 10, smiled the Inspector. "Here's Duck. He'll show you round before you start work." The twins enjoyed themselves and were soon friends with Duck. They didn't mind what they did. They tackled goods trains and coaches easily, for once the twins had shunted them, trucks knew better than to try any tricks. "We like it fine here," said Donald. "That's good," smiled Duck, "but take my tip. Watch out for Gordon, Henry and James. They're sure to try some nonsense." "Then fish yourself," chuckled Douglas. "We'll soon settle them." Donald and Douglas had deep-toned whistles. "They sound like buses," said Gordon. "Or ships," sniggered Henry. "Tugboat, Annie," laughed Gordon. "Ha ha!" Donald and Douglas cruised quietly up, one on each side. "You wouldn't be making fun of us, would you now?" asked Donald. Gordon and Henry jumped. They glanced nervously from side to side. No, said Gordon. No, certainly not, said Henry. That's fine, said Douglas. Just mind the both of ye, and keep it that way. That was the way Gordon and Henry kept it. Every day, punctually at 3:30, Gordon steams in with the express. It is called the Wild Nor'Wester, and is full of people from England, Wales and Scotland. There's also a special coach for passengers travelling to places on Thomas's branch line. When the other coaches are taken away empty, engines have to remember to shunt the special coach to the bay platform. It does not wait there long. Thomas, with Annie and Clarabel, comes hurrying from the junction to fetch it. Thomas is very proud of his special coach. One afternoon, Douglas helped Duck in the yard while Donald waited to take a goods train from the other end of the line. As Duck was busy arranging Donald's trucks, Douglas offered to take away Gordon's coaches. Douglas was enjoying himself when an awful thought struck him. I hope the Fat Controller doesn't find out I shouldn't be here. I couldn't abide going back. He worried so much over this that he forgot about Thomas's special coach. He pushed it with the others into the carriage siding, then ambled along to join Donald at the water column. As he went, Thomas scampered by, whistling cheerfully. Soon Thomas came fussing. Where's my coach? Coach? Asked Donald. What coach? My special coach that Gordon brings for me. It's gone. Oh, I must find it. He bustled away. Losh sakes, said Douglas. I'm on a stud the special coach with the others. You see that? Exclaimed Donald's driver. A mob of angry passengers erupted from the siding. They're complaining to the Fat Controller. He'll be coming here next. No, listen, said Douglas's driver. We'll change tenders. Then away with ye, Donald, and duck young Gwids. Did a fash about us. Quick now, do as I say. The Fat Controller and 3 passengers walked towards them, but Donald, with Douglas's tender, 10, was out and away with the goods before they came near. Douglas and his driver waited with innocent expressions. Ah, said the Fat Controller, number 9, and why have you not taken the goods? My tender is away, sir. The driver showed him the tender still uncoupled. Ah, I see, some defect no doubt. Tell me, why did number 10 leave so quickly? Maybe, sir, put in Douglas, he saw you coming and thought he was late. Said the Fat Controller. He turned to the passengers. Here, gentlemen, are the facts. Number 10 has been shunting the yard. Your coach disappeared. We investigate. Number 10, disappears too. You can draw your conclusions. Please accept my apologies. The matter will be investigated. Good afternoon, gentlemen. The Fat Controller watched them till they climbed the station ramp. His shoulders twitched. He wiped his eyes. Douglas wondered if he was crying. He was not. He swung round suddenly. Douglas, he rapped, why are you masquerading with Donald's tender? The Fat Controller scolded both engines severely. There must be no more tricks, he said. I shall be watching you both. I have to decide which of you is to stay. He strode away. The twins looked glum. Neither wanted to stay without the other. They said so. Then what is today? Wondered Douglas. Och, said Donald. Each mun be as good as the other. Sen'll had to keep us both. Their plan was good, but they had reckoned without a spiteful brake van. The van had taken a dislike to Douglas. Things always went wrong when he had to take it out. Then his trains were late, and he was blamed. Douglas began to worry. You're a muckle nuisance, said Donald one day. It's to leave you behind I'd be wanting. You can't, said the van. I'm essential. Och, are ye? Donald burst out, yelling nothing but a screeching and a noise when all's said and done. Spite doggy, would ye? Take that! Oh, cried the van. What you wished, said Donald severely. There's more coming sin you misbehave. The van behaved better after that. Douglas's trains were punctual, and the twins felt happier. Then Donald had an accident. He backed into a siding. The rails were slippery, he couldn't stop in time, and crashed through the buffers into a signal box. One moment the signalman was standing on the stairs, the next he was sitting on the coal in Donald's tender. He was most annoyed. You clumsy great engine, he stormed. Now you must stay there. You've jammed my points. Serves you right for spoiling my nice new signal box. The Fat Controller was cross too. I am disappointed, Donald, he said. I did not expect such clumsiness from you. I had decided to send Douglas back and keep you. I'm sorry, sir. But Donald didn't say what he was sorry for. We know. don't we?" "I should think so too," went on the Fat Controller indignantly. "You have upset my arrangements. It is most inconvenient. Now James will have to help with the goods work while you have your tender mended. James won't like that." The Fat Controller was right. James grumbled dreadfully. "Anyone would think," said Douglas, "that Donald had his accident on purpose. I heard tell," he went on, "about an engine and some tar wagons." Gordon and Henry chuckled. "Shut up," said James. "It's not funny." "Well, well, well," said Douglas instantly. "Surely, James, it wasn't a you. You didn't say." James didn't say. He was sulky next morning and wouldn't steam properly. When at last he did start, he bumped the trucks hard. "He's cross," sniggered the spiteful brake van. "We'll try to make him crosser still." "Hold back," whispered the van to the trucks. "Hold back," giggled the trucks to each other. James did his best, but he was exhausted when they reached Edward's station. Luckily, Douglas was there. "Help me up the hill, please," panted James. "These trucks are playing tricks." "We'll show them," said Douglas grimly. Come on, puffed James crossly. Get moving, you, puffed Douglas from behind. Slowly but surely the snorting engines forced the unwilling trucks up the hill, but James was losing steam. I can't do it, he panted. Lay it to me, shouted Douglas. He pushed and he puffed so furiously that sparks leapt from his funnel. "Oh, groaned the van. "I wish I'd never thought of this." It was squeezed between Douglas and the trucks. Go on, it screamed, but they took no notice. The guard was anxious. "Go steady," he yelled to Douglas. "The van's braking." It was too late. The guard jumped as the van collapsed. He landed safely on the side of the line. "I might have known it would be Douglas." "I'm sorry, sir. Maybe I was clumsy, but I wouldn't have been beaten by yon trick van." "I see," said the Van Controller. Edward brought workmen to clear the mess. "Douglas was grand, sir," he said. "James had no steam left, but Douglas worked hard enough for 3. I heard him from my yard." "2 would have been enough," said the Fat Controller dryly. "I want to be fair, Douglas," he went on. "I admire your determination, but I don't know. I really don't know." He turned and walked thoughtfully away. "He'll send us away for sure, Donald." "I'm thinking you're right there, Dougie. The luck's aye been agin us. An engine doesn't ken what to do for the best." Snow came early that year. It was heavier than usual. It stayed too, and choked the lines. Most engines hate snow. Donald and Douglas were used to it. They knew what to do. Their drivers spoke to the inspector, and they were soon coupled back to back with a van between their tenders. Then, each with a snowplough on their fronts, they set to work. They puffed busily backwards and forwards, patrolling the line. Generally, the snow slipped away easily, but sometimes they found deeper drifts. Then they would charge them again and again, snorting, slipping, puffing, panting, till they had forced their way through. Presently they came to a drift which was larger than most. They charged it, and were backing for another try. There was a feeble whistle. People waved and shouted. "Losh sakes, Doodle! It's Henley! Dinna fish yourself, Henley! Bide away, we'll have you out!" The Fat Controller was returning soon. Twins were glum. "He'll send us back for sure," they said. "It's a shame," sympathised Percy. "A lot of nonsense about a signal box," grumbled Gordon. "Too many of those, if you ask me." "That brake van too," put in James. "Good riddance, that's what I say." "They were splendid in the snow," added Henry. "It isn't there." They all agreed that something must be done, but none knew what. One day Percy talked to Edward about it. "What you need," said Edward, "is a deputation." He explained what that was. Percy ran back quickly. "Edward says we need a deposition," he told the others. "Of course," said Gordon. "The question is, what is a desperation?" asked Henry. "It's when engines tell the Fat Controller something's wrong and ask him to put it right." "Did you say, tell the Fat Controller?" asked Duck thoughtfully. There was a long silence. "I propose," said Gordon at last, "that Percy be our, disputation." Hi, squeaked Percy, I can't. Rubbish, Percy, said Henry, it's easy. That's settled then, said Gordon. Poor Percy wished it wasn't. Hello, Percy, it's nice to be back. Percy jumped. Some trucks went flying. Yes, sir. Please, sir. You look nervous, Percy. What's the matter? Please, sir, they've made me a desperation, sir. To speak to you, sir, I don't like it, sir. The Fat Controller pondered. Do you mean a deputation, Percy? He asked. Yes, sir. Please, sir. It's Donald and Douglas, sir. They say, sir, that if you send them away, sir, they'll be turned into scrap, sir. Oh, that'll be dreadful, sir. Please, sir, don't send them away, sir. They're nice engines, sir. Thank you, Percy. That will do. He walked away. I had a deputation yesterday, said the Fat Controller. I understand your feelings, but I do not approve of interference. He paused impressively. Donald and Douglas, I hear that your work in the snow was good. What colour paint would you like? The twins were surprised. Blue, sir, please. Very well, but your names will be painted on you. We'll have no more mistakes. Thank you, sir. Does this mean that they're both of us? The Fat Controller smiled. It means, but the rest of his speech was drowned in a delighted chorus of cheers and whistles.